Today I'm going to be taking a look at the HLRC Rekon6, the analog version. You guys still doing analog out there? Of course you are, loads of people doing analog out there. Screw DJI, eh? They took our jobs! They took our jobs. So this one should have a decent flight time on it and range, so I thought I'd talk about it whilst I'm flying and see how long of a flight time I will get. So I'm using the full send 4000 milliamp hour. I think they are the 21700s. Now this is a 4S model, but the motors and everything can take a 6S. So the motors are, I think, just 1500 kV. So you could put 6S on there, but I think they're saying, you know, they do a lot of development with the Dave CFPV and Recon. So I think they're saying, like, if you want the longest flight time, then try the 21700 4S on the thing. It'll be a cruiser. You're not going to be doing freestyle with it. Yeah, the motors caught me out. They've got an M2 thread on them and an M2 nut, which I haven't seen before. It's a little tiny nut rather than the 2 screws that you can get with some of these. And the props, I guess, are going to be a bit proprietary. They're jam fan, and they are a 60-26 6-inch blades, dual blades. There's one big problem with this guy though, and that is, it is not set up properly out of the box. So I came here the other day to fly this, and I wasn't getting any further than, well, what was it, like 300 meters, and I was getting a load of snow. I was like, this is on 25 milliwatt. Which is interesting because I'm quite late to review this guy. There are reviews out there already, but I noticed one sneaky thing about them. They never did long range with them initially, and they never discussed the problem, which is it's got the wrong VTX table, so the power will not switch. It's at 25 milliwatt all the time. You can switch the power by the button, but it's stuck at 25 milliwatt. Now, I think this is really sneaky. I'm not going to name names, but there's some reviews out there where they changed the review from being a long-range model to, oh, let's follow a plane, or let's just put the GoPro footage on and figure out why the footage was terrible afterwards. Oh, it's why this industry's dying, I think. But anyways, if your VTX table looks like this, so for the power, it's well, it's just wrong. It's just completely wrong, and your power won't switch. Now, what's interesting is there's a VTX table on HLRC's website, and that's also wrong. It works, but you'll get stuck at 400 milliwatt. You have to have your VTX table looking like this, and then you'll be able to get out to, what are we? Well, it's a 800 milliwatt VTX, and we are 715 meters out. It is looking like it's getting, you know, a little bit broken up though there, but what should we do? See if I can push it to a kilometer. Actually, what I want to test is whether the GPS return to home, sorry, GPS rescue is going to work. Gosh, yeah, I've got, look at this, 60% throttle here. Do you know what? I think the longest flight time I've had on one of these things was 37 minutes, and that was with a 6S 18650. The only problem is that when I flew with that, it was very heavy, lots of jello, bending the props, but I think we're getting a bit of that anyways. Right, let's, how many meters are we away? Let's get in this field so I at least know where to go and fetch it from. Just want to get out of the way of these trees. Right, GPS rescue engaged. Gains a bit of height, I think, at first. I really don't like it. It's pointing, that's not the right direction. Come on, come forward, please. What are you doing? So I don't have any throttle now. I've lifted my head up, that probably helps. It's going above my head now. Well, GPS rescue, it kind of works in the way that GPS rescue kind of doesn't work. That's really why I don't like to go out any further, really. Especially with ANALogue. This isn't me bashing ANALogue here, but you can go much further and get a much sort of safer picture with the DJI stuff than you can with 800 milliwatts of ANALogue. You have to be really high as well to do it. I'm just looking at my voltage here, 14.9. We've been flying for 5 minutes, so you know, I'm not sure we are going to get the best flight time out of this pack. So a 4S 4000 milliamp hour pack from Full Send. I'm using the rapid fire with I just actually got the Menace Pico patch. Where am I? Am I getting lost? Don't want to get lost. Yeah, 800 meters there. Yeah, the Pico patch, and yeah, I've got some trees in my line of sight, but not ideal. It is. It's looking like it's just about to break up, but it doesn't. Let's see what the Crossfire is like. That's the link quality. So this is the Crossfire version. Why do I always aim for a pond? That's a kilometer. That's a kilometer. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. So we've got one of these large antennas that stick out on the back here. Another problem. I'm sorry. But yeah, it comes with like a nut on the SMA connector. And what I found was when I screwed the antenna in, the pin was circling in the middle. So the pin is not connecting properly. That is not good for your VTX. You can burn up your VTX doing that. So I took the nut off, and then you're sort of just screwing into the TPU then, and you have to be careful because you can end up twisting the SMA connector, the coax around, and then that can sort of break off. Yeah, that was a shame. Again, didn't see anyone pick that one up. Not having a go, I'm just saying, you know, we've got to be fair to the people buying this stuff. And if we're not mentioning the fact that, oh, you know, unless you really have to mess about and spend, it took me maybe, you know, half a day to figure out. It's funny, HLRC was like, oh, the VTX must be faulty. We'll send you a new VTX. I'm like, hang on a minute, what? No, the channels change. It's just the power that won't change. So went on and had a look, and it's got all weird values in the VTX table. You download their VTX table, and it's like, oh, it works, but only up to, was it the 400 milliwatts, so the one before 800. And I'm like, look at the VTX table and go, oh no, just change that to 800, and then it switches to 800. There's an LED on the Zeus board, I think it's called. Anyways, yeah, that was a big deal for me, especially, you know, it's a long-range thing. I'm like maybe the third, fourth reviewer, and yeah, I did notice there's an example of this guy doing long-range, but it was not in the first review, and this is another problem that we've got as well, you know. Not exactly the reviewer's fault, but they're getting piled with so many products that, like, and also it's all about the money. Whoever gets the video first, regardless whether, oh, there's a problem with it, oh well, we'll do the flight now and figure out the problem later. And a lot of the times it's move on to the next one, and that problem never gets sorted out. But there's no way that I could, you know, come out here, fly long range or long range-ish to a kilometer and say, oh yeah, it's brilliant. No, there's a problem with it. It's saying 800 milliwatt at the bottom, and I couldn't get past this field here. So, yeah, it's a problem. If I got a car coming out here, has he got a problem? Or let's just check. Does he need to come in the field? Don't think so. Okay. We have a club here, and he's probably just checking what's going on. Might be after his cows. So we got up to 10 minutes and it's flashing. So yeah, it does 10 minutes. I mean, you know, you probably get bored after 10 minutes. We went out to 1 kilometer. We went out, you know, a couple of times actually. Yeah, I know I sound like all I'm doing is picking out problems here. But this is the TBS version, and it's got this weird antenna mount on the side that's sort of meant to sit vertically somehow. I'm not sure how, because it puts it straight into the props when you sit it on the ground. But I've got it sideways on here, and it catches. I've also had, this is probably a bit my fault, I've had the XT60 catch in the props as well, but I think that's just the way that, you know, I didn't secure the battery properly. But, you know, if you get that VTX table sorted, another thing I had to do is put some deadband in there. The Betaflight setup was actually really good. Betaflight 4.2, you know, apart from the VTX table. You know, it seems to be flying nicely here with this big heavy battery. I guess, you know, it's been tuned for that. You don't really want to be doing freestyle with it. You know, you can do some rolls though, you know, 400 meters away, but you'll eat into your battery. You know, there'll be some long range people going, don't do that, you know, we want the most amount of flight time and we want to go far. You could probably go a lot further than I have with this VTX. As I say, I'm using the Menace Pico patch, just one with rapid fire, and then my other antenna is the Invader antenna, so it's like a pagoda, which is a problem because when I do GPS rescue, it goes right over the top of my head and actually lose video signal because you've got that dead spot over your head with it, but never mind. Yeah, I like this though. I like this analog business. There's the cows that the farmer's after, I think. Yeah, getting a great reception with the rapid fire. Had my friend Phil here with me the other day and went on 25 milliwatts. He was like, oh, this is just snow, how can you fly with this? But actually, I think I managed about 300 meters before I had to turn around. And actually having the GPS rescue switch was handy. Another thing that's probably going to shorten the flight time with this guy is the fact that the camera angle is quite high with this Recon. Superb picture, but and you can change the camera angle to be lower as well. But you know, we'd be looking at the sky all the time in a hover. Obviously, the slower you go, the better the flight time you get out of it. And we're up to 13 minutes here. All right, let's talk. I'm waffling here. Weight. Without a battery, is 250 grams on the nose. With one of these big Lion batteries, the 4,000 milliamp hour, I think it was 539, so they are heavy with these batteries. But you know, it's 4,000 milliamp hour. It's got the total flight time on here. I've put that on 13.7 kilometers. Yeah, it's not something that it's put on out of the box, but I thought that might be interesting, so I just stuck that on there. Great number of satellites out here. Don't have a problem with the number of satellites with this, you know, because it's analog. Problems with the vistas causing noise and stuff. Good 16 satellites is fine for GPS rescue. And you're probably looking at my voltage and thinking 13.4 volts, but yeah, this is a 4S Lion, so we can go all the way down to safely 2.7 volts, 2.8 volts per sal, which I think is 10 volts with this thing. So yeah, we're looking, you know, if you went steady with it, I think we could be looking at a half-an-hour flight time. It does feel really sluggish though. I mean, look at my throttle percentage the whole time. It's good that that's on there. 58, 59, 60. 300 meters away here. A great picture through this rattan. Great dynamic range. So what else about it? Yeah, it's a really nice build actually. Otherwise, sure, you can get it with different receivers, but you know, Crossfire's the one you want to go for, or I guess the PMP, and then do your own, you know, maybe Express LRS. A lot of people are doing that these days, but I really I can't fault it when Crossfire is just so good. Never had a problem with Crossfire. It just works. It's the full Crossfire module that I've got on here. Yeah, so yeah, what are you guys up to? You guys into this long range stuff? I only dared to go out for 1 kilometer, but you can see there we could have done 16 kilometers in total. That's far, man. That's far. My house is 5 kilometers away, so I could have, if I got the range out of the VTX, which technically you could have, I could have flown to my house and back, which is kind of funny. And we've got that lost model alarm underneath as well, so with the built-in battery. To say it's not that loud though. Had it going off on my car whilst I walked around the field just to check, you know, the field was okay and that. And I couldn't hear it at the bottom of this field. So where that tree is there, where the arrow was pointing, down here, couldn't hear the beeper going off, but I guess it's as loud as it can go, and if you know the general area, then you're going to find it. Yeah, that's important to have, but I just don't fancy walking across all of these fields. And yeah, that's not fun for me. I don't find that fun, you know. It is nice being able to explore a little bit further. Watch the trees. I had to go up on the throttle then, and it's gone down to 12 volts, so I need to be careful. You see my throttle position has increased. Let's fly into the sun. It's kind of funny, this. It's like I'm always, when I'm doing my reviews, it's like, oh, it's not sunny. Well, you know, you've got the range here. Fly to where there's some sun. Camera's performing well. A little bit of jello. I expect that from a bi-blade. Bi-blades produce a lower frequency vibration than a tri-blade. One of the reasons why we do tri-blades for freestyle is it gets the jello out of the camera, specifically the HD camera. It's not the higher frequency vibrations with a tri-blade. You know, if you know anything about sort of frequencies and music and stuff, you know, lower frequencies create more vibration, hence why lower frequencies create bass, and higher frequencies are what people call treble. Bass, obviously, you know, when you go to a club or something like that and the bass is going, you can feel it through your chest, it vibrates, it sends lower frequency vibrations, and that gives you jello. And it's I'm not sure if it's technically why 5-inch went to tri-blades, but it certainly organically works with the cameras. So yeah, if you're trying to get rid of jello, I mean, you can balance bi-blades, that's a good thing, but sometimes even when you balance them, you'll still get jello. And also the bigger the blade, so we're on 6-inch here as well. The smaller the blade, the less vibrations, you're going up in frequency. That's why it really struggle to get no jello. I remember on the old like DJI Flame wheels when they had the huge props, and also the X class, it's the frequency from the props causing jello. Very difficult. Of course, now we've got these fancy GoPros that are very good at stuff like that. Then it's not so much a problem. Oh yeah, by the way, GoPro. It's got an attachment for a naked GoPro. It also comes with a naked GoPro mount for the Beta FPV naked GoPro, because a lot of these GoPro cases now, light GoPros, so naked GoPros, they've got like the little miniature GoPro attachment on there. So you can just stick a screw through it, but I'm not too much of a fan of those. You know, they're quite difficult to attach, and you're sort of stuck with it once it's attached. But yeah, that's one good thing about the Recon FPV stuff is it does come equipped for that sort of stuff. I just didn't want to stick a naked GoPro on here in case I lost it. You know, a kilometer is a push for me for flying. You know, it's traipsing through, you know, 4 or 5 of these fields, some of which we don't have access to. So I just, yeah, a kilometre is fine. It will go further, you know. I'd say 6 kilometres at least with this VTX before it starts getting really sketchy. But, you know, really this is more about, you know, figuring out what flight time it will do. Makes these videos incredibly long and difficult to know how to format them though as well. I can hear a helicopter coming around. Oh, you're destroying my energy management helicopter. It might be a tractor. Well, 20 kilometers we've done now, and 21 minutes. I should have turned that off in the settings. That's one thing it's not set up for, as well as to change the battery voltage. It was set for a LiPo, so you get your flashing at round about, oh, I don't know. Was that a big fire over there? I'm sure I've got ADHD. Yeah, you need to set it from 3.5 volts or 3.4 volts to, I got it set to 2.7, but I didn't change the fly min timer, so that's quite annoying when that goes off. There's also an altitude dial on the OSD. I don't find that to be ever accurate. You know, iNav, yes, that's the other thing as well, you know, all these are on Betaflight. Why aren't they bringing iNav versions out? Because then you would have true GPS hold, I think. Just more confidence, you know, this Betaflight GPS rescue. I don't have confidence in it at all. The iNav stuff, I think iNav would be much better. Of course, you need to have a more expensive GPS or separate compass, more cost. And I think, you know, people have just got flashes of Betaflight, like this one. You know, I'll just flash it. But clearly the VTX table was wrong, so it was a wrong flash of something. So, but that'd be great if, you know, they brought out an iNav version. Because really, yeah, you know, it's nice to stick on a LiPo and do some freestyle with it. And it's actually great for chasing planes and stuff like that. But if you want to do long range, then yeah, you want the Lion packs on there. So go through the tree. 11 volts now. So this is, even though it's a Lion, this is where it will start to drop off more quickly than it was before. Doesn't help that I've come low and I'm, you know, I'm not smooth on the throttle because, you know, I've punched out to go under a tree and stuff like that. In the aviation world, it is called energy management, especially, you know, with the like gliders and stuff like that. You know, what goes up must come down, and what energy you use to get up there, you know, will be lost when you come back down. So it's best when doing a long-range flight, especially, you know, as we need to go around the curvature of the Earth as well. You want to get some height on for doing this long-range stuff. Well, yeah, 24 minutes and 11 volts. Looks like we're going to be able to do at least 27 minutes. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, right? Because, you know, once you get that VTX table sorted, then, you know, it's a great model. However, a day, maybe half a day, to figure out what on earth was going on. HLRC trying to send me a new VTX. If you go and look at anyone else who's checked this guy out, they've got that VTX table in there that doesn't work, and then they didn't do long range with it. They just went, not my problem. Which, you know, it's not good for you guys buying this stuff. Oh no, look at the voltage dropped and we've got the beeper going off. It might just fall out of the sky if I carry on, but technically we can go down to 2.5, or it's 10.5, sorry. Okay, well, let's, yeah, 25 minutes is your lot. I've had 37 minutes out of a similar setup with this, so if you want longer flight times, go for the 6S 18650. These are the, you know, 21700s, but that's it's definitely got to be a landing. So there you go, that is my review of the HLRC Recon FPV6 Analog Edition. I'll put a link in the video description if you wish to get one. Watch out for that VTX table, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.